Hi guys. So this is Module 2, Presentation 2. This is going to be on occupations. I'm really excited to share this with you. It's going to be a little bit more upbeat than we had the last presentation for Module 2. It's not so much about the history, but now it's getting into the nitty-gritty really about what occupational therapy is and why we do what we do. So I am going to ask if you can please get the OT practice framework out and have it with you as we're going through this information. I'm going to be highlighting some of the components of each of the areas of occupation, but there's more information in your book starting at page S19 that you might find to be helpful. So let's get started. So occupations. We talked about occupations are things that we do. They're activities that we engage in, but more importantly, they're things that are of personal interest to us, things that we want to engage in. We hold value into some of the things that we do, some of the activities that we engage in. If you think about the term occupation, it's what occupies our time. These are activities that occupy our time. So they have unique it reflects sometimes the unique characteristics of an individual. And to some degree, there's personal meaning that can only be interpreted by the person that is experiencing that activity or that area of occupation. For example, I'm not overly excited to cook. That's not one of the things that I totally enjoy doing. I find that myself, this is a personal characteristic of me, that if I have to spend much more time cooking the meal than I do eating the meal, it's not very fun. There's many more things I would like to do. My daughter, on the other hand, loves to cook. She's very creative. She can find the most random things in her refrigerator and make an amazing meal. She has that interpretation of what it feels like to prepare something. She's proud of what she does. She likes to be creative and try different spices out and different meats and different recipes. That's her experiencing that same area of occupation. So you can see how they can vary amongst individuals. When we talk about occupational beings, this is basically saying that all people are able to or entitled to engage in occupations of their choice. What happens is as we engage in these areas of occupation, we grow and we experience that sense of independence or interdependence if needed. So let's get started and talk about the 8 domains of occupations. The first domain is activities of daily living. These are activities that one does taking care of his or her own body. As you see here, there's just 6 pictures, and I'm going to talk about each one of these. So one is eating, also the area of swallowing. That is an activity that we do to take care of our own body. Bathing or showering, dressing our body or undressing our body, transferring, moving from one location to another, or moving an object from one location to another, toileting, and then walking around or moving around if you are in a wheelchair or another personal device. A couple other areas in terms of activities of daily living that I want to touch base on is personal care device. This means caring for your contact lenses, caring for your dentures, caring for hearing aids. That's all personal care device. That would fall under ADLs. Personal hygiene and grooming, such as combing or brushing our hair, shaving our legs, so on and so forth. And the last component of this is sexual activity. The next area is IADLs. This is considered instrumental activities of daily living. These are activities that support our daily life, but they're much more complex. There's also a spectrum of complexity that can be about or be a component of those IADLs. When we think about IADLs, this is not only caring for our own body, but caring for others or caring for things that support our being independent. So one would be the care of others. So if you're caring for other individuals, family or friends, caring for a dog, taking care of your dog, taking care of a pet, Child rearing, meaning that you're raising a child, you're raising children. That's also a component of IADLs. Then you get into the whole area of management. Communication management, such as text messaging, talking on the cell phone, emailing, writing notes, that's all communication management. There's finance management in terms of taking care of a household budget or a business budget, making sure you have enough money for your expenses that you're accruing. Also budgeting for the future as part of financial management. Home management is taking care of your home, making sure that it's safe, it's clean, it's livable. Health management, meaning that if you find that you are sick or you are injured and you have to seek medical attention, how would you identify and find and get to that medical management or that medical attention? Safety management, making sure that yourself as well as your home is safe so that you're aware of your surroundings. You take extra level of protection in your home to make sure that your home is safe. You prepare a meal and clean up the meal afterwards. This is one of the areas that we had talked about in terms of spectrum. So if I'm baking brownies, it's very simple. I can prepare brownies in a short period of time, and then I can clean up afterwards. Sorry, had to let my dog out. But if I'm cooking for a group of people or I'm cooking for my family, it might take me longer to prepare that meal. To go one step further, it might actually take a longer time if I had to cook a meal for Thanksgiving or for a holiday or for like a picnic. It's a much higher level of responsibility. The next two areas are shopping, which is one of my favorite IADLs. But there's different components to shopping. You can shop for food, you can shop for clothes, you can shop for appliances, many areas or many ways that you can shop. The last component of this is religious and spiritual exploration. The next area is rest and sleep. These are activities related to restorative of rest and sleep. When you think about rest, this is the interruption between physical and mental activities. So I'll give you an example of when I take my dog out and we go for a walk. He gets tired, and so we have to rest. We're not really stopping what we're doing or stopping our walk, but we're taking a few minutes to look at the trees and to smell the leaves and to smell the flowers, just to catch our breath before we continue on our way. That's what we talk about with rest. When we talk about sleep, however, there's two different areas. One is that you're preparing for sleep, so you're preparing your body to kind of slow down. Maybe you take a shower at night, or maybe you read a book. Some people may say their prayers. Maybe they watch a movie. So that's preparing your body for sleep. And then the next part is actually participating in sleep. The next area is education. If you look in the OT practice framework, you'll see that there's different variances of education. One is the formal participation of education, meaning that you're actually involved in a curriculum. You have the set days that you go to a class, you have assignments, you have responsibilities in order to engage in that educational requirement. The next is looking at informal, and this can be done through exploration or through participation. When you're exploring informal education, is you're deciding, what is it you want to learn more about? What is it that interests you? Are you more interested in one thing over another? And then you're going to then participate. One of the examples I have for this is deciding if I want to take the summer to get better at yoga or to get better at kickboxing. That's my exploration. What is it that I want to learn more about? What is it that I want to get better at? And when I ultimately decided that I want to do some kind of aerobic kind of activity, I'm going to go with more of the kickboxing. So then I will explore that further. In the area of occupation of work, this is now actually engaging in something that is working or dealing with another organization or individual. There's different components to this. One is you want to decide what interest you have and then pursue those interests, considering what is close by geographically, what is something that goes along with the line that you want to work in. And then the next level is seeking and acquiring a job. When you're seeking a position, you might be looking to interview, you might be completing an application, and then you're going to acquire that job. The next level is job performance. Makes sense. How well do you perform your job? Do you meet the expectations of the employer? Then, sometime in life, an individual will want to get to the point of retirement preparation. How are you going to prepare for retirement? How much do you have to save? What are you going to do with your downtime? There's an adjustment period that goes into play with that. So that's part of that retirement preparation and adjustment. The last part, I'm not sure how much you guys get into volunteering, but I enjoy volunteering very much. But there's a lot of opportunities to volunteer. So you have to think about and explore what are some opportunities that are out there for you to volunteer. Do they fit your schedule? Do they fit your interests? Do they fit your desires? And then how are you going to participate in those? The next two slides are going to cover play and leisure. When we engage in play, these are spontaneous or organized activities that provides enjoyment, entertainment, amusement, and diversion. Often people think of children participate in play, which when you think about a child's main occupation is play. They learn a lot through the use of play. As they get older, they get more involved into their education, they get more involved into their activities of daily living and even their IADLs. But play is really that first key component of occupation for young children. Adults still engage in play. So I'm going to give you an example after we go to the next slide. So when we talk about leisure, this is a non-obligatory activity. It's motivating by the individual, and it's engaged in when a person is not required to engage in other areas of occupation such as work, rest, or self-care. So my example that I want to share is, what if you want to play a round of golf? Okay, there's 18 holes in golf. You have, you may go out with your friends. You have a set rule or responsibilities that you engage in, and you complete the course. There's all 18 holes. There's a start and an end. You don't stop in between. You don't go off and do something else. You have to finish the game. That would be considered play. However, if you were just going to go out and hit golf balls with your friends, that's non-obligatory. You can go out, you can do it for as long as you want. There's no score, there's no set rules that you have to, like social rules that you have to abide by. So that's the difference between play and leisure. The last area is social participation. So we do this all the time. You probably have friends that you engage in, and you might go out shopping, or you might go and play a game with them, or you might go drinking, or you might just engage in a picnic or a family outing. These are all experiences that you participate in social engagement. These activities support social interdependency, meaning that you're not alone and you're involved with somebody else. And there's those set of rules that go along with when you're engaging with another individual. There's just the social means of communication, whether it be verbal or nonverbal or body language, and we're going to talk much more about that. Okay. So what I'm going to ask you to do in terms of our quiz, it's not really a quiz, but in a response to this presentation, is I'm going to ask you to write a haiku. A haiku, if you're not familiar with this, is a poem. It's a Japanese poem, and it follows a line and syllable structure. So there's a strict format, meaning that the first line has 5 syllables, the second line has 7 syllables, and the third line has a 5 syllable. This is the set structure. So when you complete this, you can complete it on anything that you would like in terms of occupation. So this could be any of those areas, those 8 domains that we talked about. I want you to come up with some haiku, and you're going to add it in at the end of this presentation. Please send me a message if you have any questions about that. You can also look up haikus online. There's tons of information about how to create a haiku. So how are you going to remember these occupations? There's 8 of them here. There's a lot. We're going to be talking about them more in detail. You're going to need to know these for an exam. So it's important that you understand them and that you can share what is what examples are under each of the domain areas. So some of the examples I have here is that share each of these occupation and examples to your family members. So if you're out just having dinner with your family, just share what an ADL is, or share what an IADL is, or share how you're social participating. Next, people watch. Go to the mall, go to a baseball game, go out into the community somewhere and just people watch. Identify what occupations people are engaged in on a regular basis and try to put them within the domains listed, one of these 8 domains. Read the OTPF, including the tables. Be sure to keep up on your readings and the tables. Next, share images with others and identify what occupation you observe in a picture. So occupations can be static, where you look at a picture and identify it, or it can be dynamic, where somebody is actually engaging in them. Just make sure you take some time to understand this information a little bit better. That's it for now. Good luck, guys.